everyone, my name is Sarah. Welcome back to my channel. Welcome back to my cat's bum. This is Minnie. So today I'm going to be doing my November TBR. Normally I don't do TBRs, but my Victober one worked surprisingly well. So I wanted to see if I could do it again. Now November is non-fiction November. We don't have a book olive setting prompts anymore, but I still want to use November as my non-fiction focused reading month. And so I've got a couple. I haven't gone mad. I want this to be achievable and I want to still be able to mood read because that is my natural state, mood reading. So I've got a couple here, and then I will talk about I think just one other book that I want to briefly mention. Now, I've been very fortunate recently to be sent quite a lot of books from the publishers, but I'm a bit behind because October I focused on spooky books, Victorian literature, that sort of thing. So I want to make some good progress in actually reading my gifted copies. So I will mention those first. And the first one I'm going to mention, which is the one which I'm most excited for, I think, is Courting Disaster, reading between the lines of the Regency novel by Zoe McGee. And this was kindly gifted to me by Manchester University Press. So this is looking at Regency and sort of late 18th, early 19th century novels by people like Jane Austen and Frances Burney, and looking at how often in these books there is things that we might not have noticed on a first read, stuff about consent and sexual abuse or violence, or that sort of thing. And so this is a look at that by looking at, it says, historic court records and current events to show that our arguments about consent are not a new phenomenon. This one I'm really looking forward to. I have actually read the first chapter when I first received it, and yeah, I think this is going to be a contender for one of my favourite non-fiction reads of the year. Now, I've read lots of Jane Austen. I haven't read any Frances Burney yet. I really keep meaning to, but I have not. She wrote Cecilia and Evelina, so hopefully this will actually prompt me to read her, because I've slacked a bit in my novels which are contemporary with Jane Austen. So that's my first one, and this comes out on the 4th of November, so not long to go if it interests you. Next up, I have a very different book. We have From Ibiza to the Norfolk Broads. Just singing David Bowie in my head, by James Briggs. So this is sort of like memoir and travel diary of James Briggs, who has been inspired by the famous lyrics to go on a bike journey from Ibiza to the Norfolk Broads. So this is going to be unlike anything I read before. Yeah, Life on Mars is a fantastic song. Hopefully the spirit of the song will rub off on the book and I will have a lovely time. Icon do some fantastic non-fiction. I've read so many great, like, niche, unusual topics from them. So just to mention it. So that's book number 2. Number 3 is one that, this one is a really beautiful copy. Ready? Oh, look at that. This is Craftland by James Fox, and this was kindly gifted to me by Vintage. And this is a look all at the journey through Britain's lost arts and vanishing trades. I requested this one because a couple of months ago I read a book called Of Thorn and Briar. It's a non-fiction book about the sort of dying art of hedge laying, by a man who primarily works in the West Country. And it was just so charming, and I thought this one sounded right up my street. So we're looking at people who make casks, watchmakers, thatchers, working with steel and iron, all those sorts of things. And I think this is just going to be such a lovely book. I'm really interested in this sort of thing. I watch a lot of historical farm programs. Ruth Goodman did a lot of historical farm programs, starting with Tudor Monastery up until World War II. And I was really like learning about some of the activities and crafts they were doing, which nowadays we don't see. There's not as many thatched roofs, is there, and walls being laid with stones, So I'm really looking forward to this. I think it's going to be a really charming read and will educate me no end. So yes, those are the gifted ones. The other non-fiction book I'm thinking of reading, I have mentioned in a vlog. and that's Vagabonds by Tim Curry. How exciting. I'm looking forward to this. So this is a memoir of Tim Curry. What else is there to say? I love Tim Curry. I have a picture of Rocky Horror Picture Show in my library. I think he's such an interesting man, and I'm incredibly excited to read it. And there's a bit at the back where, you know, most books says about the author, and he says, haven't you been paying attention? And so hoping that sort of humour that you get just from there follows through with the rest of the book. So I'm excited about that. So those are my non-fiction hopefuls. That's 4. I think that's very sensible because then I can read other stuff. The other book I'm going to mention is a buddy read I'm going to be doing with some of my Discord friends, and we're going to be reading The Will of the Many by James Islington, which I'm a bit scared about. I'm very excited, but I'm a bit scared. So this is phenomenally popular, phenomenally well known and loved. So I don't really need to say much. The thing that interested me and was what made me want to pick it up is the way it's based on ancient Roman society. I mean, look at the cover. I'm just interested. I have previously read the first chapter like 3 times and thought, oh, that's really good, and then haven't continued. But luckily, because the sequel is coming out, some of my friends are wanting to reread it. So we said, let's read this one together. So at least now, if I love this, I don't have much time to wait until the second one comes out, unlike everyone else who's had like 2 years. Yeah, so I'm quite new to fantasy. I've only been reading it for about 18 months. But all the series, like all the books I've been reading that got me into fantasy were completed series. I read Lord of the Rings, completed quite a while ago. I read The Realm of the Elderlings by Robin Hobb. I finished that bad boy in 8 months, and that's a finished series. What else? I've been reading various things that are finished. So the idea of starting and enjoying an unfinished series does scare me. Does scare me a bit, actually. But hopefully I will love it, and I won't get annoyed that I have to wait for extra time once I've read it. But yeah, so not a very big TBR, but hopefully a mighty one. She may be small, but she be mighty, or something along those lines. So yeah, this, and then hopefully I'll do some mood reading. So this is my little selection, and yeah, I'm looking forward to reading them. So just a short video for me today, not too much gabbing. Hopefully my cat's collar has not annoyed you with all the jingle jangling. It is not Christmas, it's just my cat. Ooh, the baby. Ooh. Right, should we say goodbye, Minnie? Bye-bye. Anyway, comment if you're reading any non-fiction, or if you're reading any fantasy, or you're just doing anything and you want to say hello. I will talk to you again soon. Bye!